Welcome to Game Devs Play Games, where we play games, talk game design. And today we are playing Stereo Aereo. It's a game made by the Stonebot Studio. That's right? I think that's right.
That's correct.
The Stonebot Studio. Yeah.
Right. Are you gonna be able to play this much sound? Is this enough for you?
We could turn it up. So this is a rhythm game. Well, rhythm action game, I guess is maybe the best way to describe it. But this was very kindly and generously sent to us by the developers. So thank you guys. We're going to play it on the show. We're going to stick to medium difficulty. It basically tells you what the difficulty changes. Except for easy. But you have, maybe easy, you have unlimited lives, 6 lives, combo, life regen, 3 lives. Insane mode is actually, I guess it's hard, but, well, it's definitely hard, especially because if you get hit once, you die, but
that tends to be difficult.
I feel like the game in general isn't the most difficult thing in the world, especially if you have good rhythm. So you get your choice of these 3 characters. Doesn't really change anything other than the aesthetic. So I'm going to play Harmony.
Harmony Riff. Rock Alive.
Man, I had the craziest, most disgusting dream last night.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Sure, it's a dream.
Yeah, there was a dumpster, a cat from outer space, and a spy dog. When suddenly...
Stereo Aereo, my favorite rock stars. I got a gig for you.
Sweet. Where?
Galaxy Fest on planet Liquid Metal.
Liquid Metal.
Liquid Metal.
Stars band, hippest band in the galaxy. You guys are my only hope. And literally, no one else agreed last minute.
Let's rock and roll.
Whatever. Let's get this over with.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
This is great. This reminds me so much of what's the Discovery album's the series. Intergalactic 999.
Interstellar 999.
Interstellar 999. The one that was based off of the anime series, like movie.
Yeah, I could be very wrong, but it's
the
something.
Daft Punk album.
Yeah.
The video.
I really like that though. But yeah, it totally kind of has the same vibe, except this is more like goofy and cheesy. But like they're not trying to not be cheesy, so I think that's what makes it work. They kind of like feed off of it.
No worries. We just have
But
to
that's the narrative of the game. They're like, you're just some space band and you have to get to the planet Liquid Metal to go perform.
Liquid Metal.
So initially it doesn't seem like it has that much of a rhythm because there's not much going on. But you can see like I get scores if I change things on beat, which generally tends to be like right after or right before. I guess I can't really hear the music, so it's a little hard. But as the game gets harder, the rhythm becomes a lot more apparent. And so that's why I want to make sure that we play this game long enough to get to that point, because I actually think the level design starts showing up much better. I think, sadly, the first level, its level design is at its weakest because it doesn't really rely on the rhythm, but that's because they want it to be easier, if that makes any sense.
Okay, I mean they're probably trying to get you to understand the mechanics of actually moving around and avoiding before you really have to start worrying about combo and bonuses and all that stuff.
Absolutely, and strangely in a way, I feel like that allows this game to play easier for players that don't have good rhythm, which generally tends to be me.
Stereo Aereo, pull over.
Stereo Aereo.
What? Not again.
The police.
What'd you do
We
wrong?
do.
You left the bar and didn't pay the check. Again.
Damn you, Stereo Aereo.
Me? What?
Kids running out on the tabs all the time.
No deal. No more warnings. You're all going to jail.
Oh.
Drones initiated and locked on.
It's pretty dramatic though,
Shields up. Set
for-
your phasers to shred.
not paying our bill. Like, you're going to prison forever.
He did say again, and he.
Oh, that's right. Right. Okay. So now we have a kind of like a double beat where these guys show up, and then you have to shoot these things, otherwise they explode and they hit a 3-row radius. So it's pretty simple. They
Reminds
start
me a
throwing.
little switch and shoot, actually.
Oops, right, I can't shoot
got
those
hit.
guys. I get to a certain point where I have a harder time distinguishing between normal cars and the drones. But, you know, easy mode.
Easy mode. After this level, we definitely got to put that volume up for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. So we have our little health bar on the side too, which I actually didn't realize was a health bar for a little while. I was like, do I have health in this game? I'm not sure what any of these things represent. But I actually played through the whole game already, so I kind of know how things go. But I didn't realize that was a health bar until after I beat the game. And then I tried insane mode and then was like, oh, okay. So now that I have 1 health, this game is much more difficult. But yeah, I love the aesthetic of this game. I think the music is really fun too. And the story is perfectly cheesy. It's like Interstellar 5555 or 999, whichever the one it is.
Whatever it
One of those is an anime, one of those is the Daft Punk music video anime. But we don't get to play rhythm games in the show a lot either, and I think we don't get to play rhythm games that also integrate that into the level design. So like other games that come to mind would be Thumper, which we haven't played on the show either.
I do have it. I have.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I played
Oh,
it.
man.
Actually, it's fun.
I saw a couple of Let's Plays on it, and it really put me in the mood for rhythm games, and then this Stereo Aereo just kind of ended up in my queue, and I was like, yes! Rhythm games!
I mean, it's a completely different game altogether.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is more like an adventure game, really. So bam. Got my 87 perfects, got a new record. Feeling good about that.
Feeling good, feeling good.
Oh, I have the remote. So we're gonna
I
turn
was
up
like,
the
why do you
volume.
keep looking at me? I have no control over this. Oh man.
Hurry up before they find you.
It's probably... I'll turn it up 1 notch.
Before they can make the flux jump.
I'm also kind of a sucker for the, like, synth music. Like 80s style synth music. So good.
What does it remind me of specifically?
Maybe Tron?
A little bit, what was it called? Halfway?
Halfway?
Well, the beginning of it, it was a cyberpunk,
Oh.
like adventure RPG, I guess, and a strategy RPG. I don't know.
Oh, really?
It was interesting. It was mostly alright, but this one has like more of that like 80s rock, like combined with the synth.
So now you can kind of hear how I'm sort of moving with the rhythm. The one thing I will say that I have an issue with in the level design is occasionally on a single beat, they'll expect you to move 2 rows, which I think feels super unnatural for the rhythm of the game. It feels like it should be a 2-beat thing.
Are you sure it's not like saying like, hey, switch between a 8th note and a 16th note?
Well, I think you'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I haven't played it before, but that'd be my guess, but it doesn't seem like there's an obvious explanation as to when you should switch over, like, and do 2 moves or 1 move.
Yeah, strangely enough, I feel like that would be better represented if this game had 3 rows instead of 5. Oops. Just because it would kind of make the movement a little bit more straightforward, and then they could add more rows to add more complexity in later levels when they're also throwing more enemies at you, and then it kind of forces your movement to be more specific. While there's less enemies, it gives the player a lot more freedom, so it actually becomes a little confusing.
That's fair.
Not to say that it's bad either. It's really more of just like a general game design observation that I think could have been somewhat improved. But the game is really fun despite that. So like, you screw up and you kind of get out of rhythm, and it's like, okay, well, I kind of feel like a doofus, but at the same time, like, I'm not so penalized. Like, I might lose a health. I could even regenerate health by getting a combo going, which is what that meter on the right is.
Gives you health.
I think when it maxes out, it gives me more health.
Is that it?
I think so. I mean, it's also a representation of how well I'm doing.
The police.
Deploy your ion bombs and blast them away.
Don't let him hit you with those ion bombs.
That guy.
Let's do this.
Like, yes, we know.
Boss battle is really well done, though. I feel like
I'm proud of you.
it integrates the challenge with the music well.
Well, so far it doesn't seem any different than a level.
That's true. I don't
He's throwing something new at you. Oh, strange.
I don't like these because of how slowly it moves into place. So I think that's the whole reason it's supposed to be challenging, is like, which row is it gonna be in?
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's like, it's when it's so clumped together, how do you know? And if you only have 5 rows to move through, or if you have 5 rows to move through, it's a lot of options. Bam.
So can you only move like left and right, or is there a way to like quick travel into a lane? Like if you're all the way on the left, you can go to the right, or
Oh,
jump 2 lanes or 3 lanes.
yeah, no, it doesn't loop around, and you can't move forward or back at all.
Gotcha.
Don't stand so close
Which
to
makes
me.
sense, honestly. I feel like if you were able to loop around, it would almost be a little too easy, because then you can really just be anywhere at any time.
Sure, at the same time, you could argue that there's certain things where you need to do that, and then it could actually become more confusing because of it.
That's true. I guess it would help fix some of my concerns with certain situations where, like, say, you know, he shoots those lasers at me and forces me all the way to the right, and if the next one forces me all the way to the left, it can feel unfair. And I don't remember if that happens really in this game at all, but it could, and that would be like the level or the mechanic to fix that, I guess. But and alternatively, you could just argue that you could just design it to not function that way.
It's about time.
So you have the moving, and then you have the shooting. Are there any other mechanics besides that?
No, that's basically as far as the player controls go, and they introduced all that in the first level, which I think is important. So really from here it's about changing the challenges that we face.
Okay, guys, what now?
That's fair.
How much
Yes,
time do we
okay.
have left?
You're the
2 minutes?
lead
Good.
voice.
Okay, I wanted to do 3 levels in the first
Right.
episode.
Gotta take a shortcut. Let's head into the.
You're the lead voice, remember?
The danger
You would
zone.
say that.
Remember, dodge the asteroids and shoot at the space junk.
Oops.
So it's interesting that it's a rhythm game that doesn't require you to play with rhythm.
It doesn't force it. It really just encourages it, which I think is kind of fun. It sort of goes back to our Crypt of the Necrodancer conversation about, you know, I mentioned how, like, that game requires you to have a good sense of rhythm to play. If you don't,
Yes.
you just cannot play it. This game is different in that you can play this, whether if you have good or bad rhythm, and it can still be challenging. It's actually easier, I think, if you follow the rhythm, but I don't know, it doesn't penalize you if you break it other than hurting your score, but you get to experience the game either way. So I guess maybe the question there is, do you think that the score is enough to justify breaking rhythm, or trying to maintain rhythm, rather?
That was pretty much going to be the question of the day.
Okay, we
We'll
should...
save it for later, but
We'll say that's the question of the day, but we'll reiterate it. But I think that's a really interesting...
All right.
Oops.
From the top.
Ah, man, see, I hate these double
just
jumps.
a chain into. Oh, you can get hit one after another.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no stun period,
You're late.
which I think is okay.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of game where if you fall out of rhythm, you're just doomed.
It's
I
not.
say that after I got hit like 3 times in a row,
It's not
but
Rock Band.
no, yeah, Rock Band, that game, it goes downhill real quick when you get out of rhythm. But I guess that's also kind of goes back into what I was saying about how the rhythm is a lot more apparent as things get harder. In a way, it actually becomes a little bit easier because you don't have to focus so hard on where each of the beats are, because everything's visually represented, and once it kind of gets you in that mode, it's really actually hard to get out of it, which I think is kind of cool. I don't think I've had many games where I can actually kind of zone out during the most difficult parts and have to focus more on the easier parts. And it still feels challenging, so it's not as though it's boring. But it's like, I think it's really satisfying when you're doing well. Because it's, I mean, much like Rock Band, actually. It's a good comparison because Rock Band, it starts to feel like you're just awesome. Like, yeah, I'm a rock star. So when you're doing well in this game, it's like, yeah, I've got good rhythm and I'm an awesome space musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see no other reason to go to space.
Right?
Hey, and by the way, I'm as much a leader as you guys.
Are you,
So
though?
is the lead guitar, harmony, lead bass, and am I forgetting someone?
Was there another character that I'm unaware of?
We'll find out in the next episode.
Oh, good timing. All right, question of the day.
So question of the day, what was it? It was, do you think that the...
Do you think that there's no
It was about the rhythm and the ability to, like, not obey the rhythm. So do you think the score...
do you think that the score is a
good enough incentive to maintain your rhythm in the game?
bam, that's it.
I mean, it is important to note that there are leaderboards in this game, so you can go on there and compare your scores to other people, but, you know, should there be something else? Should there be something more? And even if you do think there should be something more, what would you make for it?
Let us know. Be sure to vote ahead, above, literally over my head. Till next time.
Bye, everyone.